everyone, I'd like to welcome y'all to today's episode of Metal Truthers. We have a absolute ton to go over, especially with the Brexit going on and now with the Orlando shooting. Got some updates on it. Um, First off, I'd like to start out on the Brexit. Congratulations to everybody, and I mean everybody, that chose freedom over being part of the European Union. This is a massive blow to the global government. They hate it. Um, about that, the government is actually saying that the Brexit is causing an economic collapse. And at first, it's going to, the British pound has devalued, but it will return. It will go right back to where it needs to be. It'll be a powerful currency again. Um, in all honesty, guys, this is probably the best thing y'all could have done. So again, congratulations on exiting the EU. Uh, Unfortunately, everybody else, pretty much the entire global economy, is going into a downward spiral right now. Production is down, consumption is down, spending is down. People are holding on to their money. People are not spending and buying like they were. It's a catastrophe, but it's all being pioneered by the government. We know what's going on. They they just want us to rely on the government more and more, because when we rely on the government, obviously they have more control over us. So this whole economic collapse is being pioneered, and it's coming soon. A full scale global economic collapse is coming soon. It's gonna happen whether you, I mean, obviously you don't want it to, but it's going to. Uh, it's just a matter of time before it does finally come. It's time. If you know how to garden, if you know how to hunt, it's time to start doing it. If you don't know how to, it's time to learn, because our money is going to be absolutely worthless. Look at this condition of Mexico's currency. Look at the peso. It's almost completely devalued now. The cost of living in Mexico is so high that it's basically impractical to even have a job there. Just living there basically is impractical. There's really no coming back for them. All the that's why we're having such a problem with immigration in the United States right now. And don't get me wrong, people, I'm not against people coming from Mexico or Canada or wherever migrating here legally. I'm not against it at all. I just want them to do it the right way. I don't want them to come across the borders and be undocumented. I want them to come here and be the right way. Which actually leads me into the next topic, the German refugee crisis. People are being arrested in Germany right now for speaking out against the Islamic refugees that are raping and killing people by the hundreds. Crime statistics in Germany have spiked thousands of. I mean, it's just unbelievable what's going on over there right now, and people are being arrested for speaking about it. If they speak up against it, they get the cuffs thrown and they're behind bars indefinitely. I mean, the government is just allowing these people to come in and kill the citizens, rape the women. I mean, there are women being raped on the sidewalks in front of the police, and the police are being told by the government to stand down. That is none of their business. There have been uprisings in Germany where people have been arrested for protesting. People have been killed by the government. It's getting terrible over there. And these are the same people that President Obama wants to bring to the United States. I've looked at some of the videos of the refugees coming in through the airports and other ways. And if you notice, if there are any women and children, they are very, very, very few in numbers. They're almost non existent or are completely non existent. These are the same people that will be coming over here and eventually will be killed or arrested for speaking out against what they're doing to our people by raping us, killing us, whatever. Um, Also, I'd like to touch on the Orlando shooting. The thing about it is everybody's crying to ban the AR-15 because it's a scary looking gun, and they say that that's what the Orlando shooter Omar Martin used. He did not. He did not use an AR-15. It was a Sig Sauer MCX. It. I don't even have a comment for the stupidity. AR-15 was not used. Like I said, it was a Sig Sauer MCX. It's chambered in either 300 blackout or 5.56. Yes, 5.56 NATO is what the AR-15 uses, and that is not what the MCX used in the Orlando shooting used. It was a 300 blackout. But you can't expect a bunch of liberals to actually know their guns. So, of course, AR-15 looks like a big, scary military style weapon. So, of course, that's who all the liberals are going to cry out against. But no, I'd like to point out that Facebook is deleting posts about the Orlando shooting. Anybody that claims that there was more than one person, they're being silenced by the media. The posts are being deleted by Facebook. the uh, the media is just going crazy with this. Anybody saying that we have eyewitness reports from inside the club that say that there were at least two people holding the doors down, so the police couldn't get in. And official reports are saying that there was only one man acting alone that was doing the entire thing. And I'd also like to point out that it took 3 hours for the police to respond to the call. That's just unbelievable. And I'd also like to point out that the club was a gun-free zone. It had signs posted. Um, if somebody inside there was armed, they could have took this killer out before he killed 49 people. Mm. And yet again, President Obama is refusing to call this an act of Islamic terrorism. He just calls it terrorism, which he is right. It is terrorism. But the fact that Omar Mateen called 911, spoke to operators, pledged his allegiance to ISIS, said he was an Islamic soldier before he started firing, and Obama refuses to acknowledge any of that. Also, anybody calling it Islamic terrorism is being deleted by Facebook and censored by the media. All the interviewers, they were cut off immediately if they ever said anything about the there being more than one gunman or saying something about him being an Islamic terrorist. They were being censored. They were being knocked off the media. They were being edited out, forced to shut up, posts are being deleted on Facebook. This is a large scale cover up by the government. It's a massive cover up. Uh, and if you notice, within hours of the shooter, Obama immediately jumped onto the gun control agenda, saying Islam is not to blame, the shooter was a lone wolf, it's not terrorism but a hate crime. I don't even know what to say about that. I mean, the guy calls 911, pledges to his allegiance to ISIS, and this isn't Islamic terror but a hate crime. Wow. I don't even know what to say to that. But it's wrote in the Quran that Muslims are to hate gays. They are to kill gays. Homosexuality is punishable by no less than death. And that's exactly what this guy did. And of course, Obama is still claiming that ISIS has shrunk to right to where we want them, that they are no longer a threat. And then this guy, of course, pledges his allegiance to ISIS and kills a bunch of people. Of course, Obama don't want to acknowledge that this guy's an Islamic terrorist, but he was. You know, that's just the corruption of this current administration. They You cannot say that these people care about us. You cannot say that the government cares about its citizens anymore. This is just another push towards the global economy, or towards the global government. I apologize. Uh, but no, the Brexit was a huge blow to the global uh, government agenda, basically the globalism agenda. But there's still a huge push in all the others, and just keep your eyes on Great Britain right now. Keep your eyes on them, because there's a lot going on behind the scenes. I'm not 100% sure of everything that's going on, but with this being such a huge blow to the global elites and the Rothschilds banks, etc., there's definitely going to be something going on behind the scenes that's going to keep them from backing out of the European Union and pushing them even closer to the NWO. That's just as I've noticed how it goes. And with the terrorist attacks, we're having refugees over here. There's going to be more terrorist attacks. There's absolutely going to be more. Um, and now even with the economy collapsing, it's just another push towards the NWO. And another thing, the government is going crazy. They're going crazy, making their hardest pushes towards the New World Order right now. They're pushing their hardest for the globalism. It's gotten to the point to where they're not even trying to hide it anymore. They're just doing whatever. False flags. They're pushing them. They're pushing their gun control agenda. They know that they can't take over a nation of armed defenders. They know they can't do it. That's why they're pushing so hard for the gun control. That's why the Orlando false flag was staged. I'm not saying that people didn't die, because, I mean, they did. That's all there is to that. There are people that died. But it was staged. The Omar Mateen, the one that did the shooting, even acknowledged, the government even acknowledged that he was an FBI employee. But the reason for me going on the rant about the government corruption is here in my home state of Alabama, down in Shelby County, a 14-year-old girl was raped. And she chose not to abort the child. God, this makes me sick. She chose not to abort the child, and after the child was born, CPS came in the hospital without a warrant or any prior authorization and took the child and put it in temporary foster care. Now, I mean, this just happened within the last month, but the mother wasn't allowed to see the child. They they claimed to take the child under grounds of safety concerns. The mother wasn't allowed to see the child, and for some odd reason, the father was, even though the father was admittedly a danger to the child and the mother. They let him out of jail to go see the child after it was born. And I mean, it's basically the mother's being punished for choosing not to abort the child, and the father is being privileged for creating the child, even though it was against the mother's will. Keep in mind, the mother is only 14, but she, she chose to step up to the plate and take care of the child, even though she didn't mean to get pregnant. She didn't ask for that guy to rape her, but it happened. The last I've heard, the mother has the child back, and she is taking care of the child along with the help of her parents, or her foster parents. I'm sorry. The 14-year-old was adopted at birth as well. Um, I'll have more on this story later as it develops. It's it's still in the very early stages, but this just shows you the corruption of our government. They are going in and taking people's kids without warrant, and there's nothing we can do to stop them. If we try to arm them, they just call the police on us, and we get arrested for obstructing government operations. So it's getting time to really be watching your ass. Everybody listening to this right now, you need to stand up. If you don't have any firearms, you need to get one. There's coming a time to, like I said earlier in the show, there's coming a time where the dollar is going to be absolutely useless. We're not going to be able to go to the grocery store and, you know, buy canned fruits and vegetables. So it's time to put up what you can. If you don't know how to garden and hunt, it's time to learn how to hunt and garden. It's time to learn how to skin an animal. If you go out and kill a deer and don't know how to skin it, it's useless. You just wasted a life. If you know how to skin the meat off of an animal that you killed and put it up and save it, and you know how to grow your own food, if you know how to garden, good. Hold on to those skills. Teach people that don't know and help people survive the coming collapse. That's all for today's episode of Metal Truthers. Like, subscribe, share our videos, get the word out. Let's get some views on these videos, and let's try to wake some more people up. Let's try to bring the light to people that don't know what's going on. I appreciate you tuning in. Like, share, subscribe. I'll see you guys later.